Hey finders, and welcome back to Fortune Finds. Today I'm going to be teaching you my go-to makeup routine without using any foundation. And no, I am not going to deceive you. I've seen a bunch of those videos where it's like, here is my full face of makeup without using an ounce of foundation, yet let's use half a tube of concealer. No, I am using the ittiest bittiest bit of concealer to just help cover up what it is we need to cover up. But yeah, we achieve this really beautiful, it's natural looking, we don't look like cake face. You can see a little bit of my imperfections, but they're definitely muted. So I think this is great for any event. If you have an outdoor event coming up this summer, an outdoor wedding, it's light on the skin. We're not wearing too much makeup. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing any makeup on my face, quite frankly. It's not adhering to any of my troubled spots because personally for me, someone who has very dry, sensitive skin, some days I wake up and foundation just ain't it. It makes my skin look a little crustier, a little cakier than it already is. And this is genuinely the routine and the products that I use on those days where I just don't feel like wearing any foundation. This looks beautiful in photos. It looks beautiful on video. If you just want this full face of makeup without any foundation, then just keep on watching. Before we hop into the details of this video, make sure that you subscribe and click that bell button. This way you get a notification every time I'm uploading a new video here on my channel. I know sometimes we watch YouTube videos and we love them. We don't subscribe, we don't like it, and then like 2 weeks later we're sitting there at our vanity and we're like, oh, I really wish I could remember what that crazy bitch that I watched on YouTube said about how to get the perfect liner, get the perfect lip, get the perfect whatever it is that I cover here on my channel. So just subscribe, it's free. I'm not gonna annoy you. You don't get spam emails. Just subscribe. This way you don't forget about me and the amazing tips that I share with you guys on a weekly basis. So if you subscribed and you rung the bell, then let's go ahead and hop right into my no foundation, full face of makeup routine. Thayers, I don't know if I'm saying that right. They sent me a facial toner with witch hazel and aloe vera formula. Clean beauty, it is 98% natural. This video is not sponsored. They just sent this to me and it was so nice of them to send to me. I'm gonna be using this for the first time today. I don't know if you guys saw in one of my recent videos, someone actually asked me if these were worth it, if the reusable cotton rounds from Amazon were worth it. I love these. I use these things for so many things. One side is smooth. I like to apply, my toners with this. It feels really nice on the skin. It's so nice on the skin. And then the other side is rougher. It has like a textured kind of fabric. And this is really great for exfoliating the face, exfoliating your lips. I have very dry, crackly lips, no matter how much water I drink. Use them as a color switch. So if I go in with an eyeshadow and I want to change up the color but use the same brush, I'll just rub it on the back of here and take off the excess eyeshadow and switch the color. So these are awesome. I will link them down below. Eco-friendly. We're not using cotton rounds, throwing them out. You can reuse them. They're really great and I really do like them. And I'm going to use the rougher side because I didn't exfoliate my face today. I exfoliated my face 2 days ago. I washed my face like 20 minutes ago and now my face is dry. So I'm just re-adding a little bit of moisture onto my skin before going in with my serum for the day and my moisturizer. If you feel like you need a little bit more moisture, I'm going to take the soft side, add a little bit more of that toner on there, and I'm just going to pat this into my skin. Guys, I feel like you're going to see this a lot. This is the Murad Resurgence Rapid Collagen Infusion Serum. I probably use about a pump and a half on my entire face. I'm just going to spread this in. That toner felt so nice and it's genuinely unscented. It's really light on the skin and I can feel like how easily my serum is just gliding across my face because I used that toner to add a little bit of moisture. Murad Hydration SPF 30. I'm going to use a decent amount because we're not using a foundation. I find it to be even more important for the skin to be really hydrated. Foundation does give a little bit of a slip. So I just think you need to use a little bit more moisturizer to just give it that glide, So we're going to be using a lot of cream products, cream bronzer, cream blush, all that good juicy stuff, which you're about to see, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But I just think it's a really good rule of thumb to use a lot of cream products, especially when you're going for a no foundation kind of look. Yensa cream bronzer. This is the Sunlit Glow Silk Bronzing Base, and this is the brush that it comes with if you buy the kit. I freaking love this cream bronzer. It's so good. And I equally love this little guy as well, the little brush guy. So I'm just gonna put this where, I would put my cream bronzer naturally. And I'm just gonna pounce this into the skin. And I'm not gonna be, too precise with this. You really don't need to be. We will be going in with concealer where we need it, and we will just be cleaning things up. You can be a little bit rougher with this, like you can swipe a little bit more than you usually typically do when you're wearing a foundation, because there's only SPF underneath it, and SPF doesn't have a pigment to it, so you don't need to worry about moving it. Not rough. You never want to be rough with your skin, but you can just like blend a little bit more liberally. I brought you guys in a little bit so you can see a little bit better, which I hope you can. So I kind of just put that where I typically put that, and you can see it gave a little bit of bronze to the face. And I'm gonna bring it across my nose because I just feel like, we're not putting foundation on, so I'm just gonna put it where the sun would naturally hit me. So I kind of just put it in a W, and we are gonna go in with a little bit of cream contour, so we will be a little bit more sculpted. So I genuinely did not use this as contour. I used this as a bronzer. Ardell Glamtouring Highlight and Contour Duo. I'm gonna look at my face in the mirror a little bit below my cheekbone, and I'm gonna try and get these to be a little even. And I'm drawing a very small little line, it doesn't need to be crazy. And then I'm just gonna make my forehead a little bit smaller. I'm gonna put a little bit of this on the sides of the nose, and I'm just gonna chisel out my jaw. And you know what? Put a little bit around my lips to contour them as well. Wow, I haven't contoured my face like this in a minute. Take that same brush and I'm just gonna pounce this into the skin. And I'm not gonna be as rough with this. We already put a layer down of that bronzer, and I don't wanna pick that bronzer up. I really do wanna keep it in place. And by using the brush that we put the bronzer down with too, it's gonna help to make contour look a little bit more natural, because it's gonna use both of the products that are in the bristles to just help blend it out. And can you see we look a little bit more sculpted? I know it looks a little crazy. It will look better as we progress. I mean, honestly, guys, with makeup, I say this all the time, just trust the process. Just trust the process. Sometimes we look absolutely bananas and it's like, oh God, are we going to be able to come back from this? We will look like a glowing goddess by the end of this. Don't you worry. And then I'm going to take my brush and kind of bunch it together like that, just to help sculpt the nose out a little bit. I feel like a lot of the times when you go in with concealer and then do all these steps, you end up going in with concealer again. And why do we need extra layers? Let's avoid extra layers by just concealing last. Taking what's ever left on that brush, and I'm kind of just putting it where we didn't put anything yet, just to make everything look a little bit more cohesive. And to just blend everything out. Honest Beauty in Peony Pink. This is the blush that will never die. Absolutely love it, but I'm really sick of this color, and girlfriend wants a new one. Honestly, I want a new one. Crown Dome brush on the apples of my cheeks. Now, if you've been watching my other videos, I feel like I've been putting my blush a little bit higher, but since, we're not using a foundation, I feel like we need to use these cream products in ways that just cover more ground. So instead of just putting this blush up here, I'm just putting this all over the apples of my cheeks and then bringing it back. Stamp that over the nose like that, just to give a really cute, like sunburned, crispy kind of look. Put some on my chin, forehead, just in the middle. We're kind of just using this as a complexion product. Again, covering a little bit more ground. And I just think that's really cute. Really pretty. Grab my Belif Moisturizing Eye Balm. I'm gonna put a little bit of that on the back of my hand. Shape tape, put that next to the cream. It Cosmetics number 7 brush. I'm gonna take a little bit of that cream. I'm gonna take a little bit of that concealer. Kind of mixed a little bit on the back of my hand. Gives us coverage where we need it, but gives us a little bit less coverage, and just kind of makes it a little bit more like skin, just like a little bit more natural. Down the sides of my nose, just to kind of sculpt out the nose a little bit better. Take a little bit more of that concealer. I'm gonna apply it to the back of my hand. It just helps me to control, the amount of product that I'm putting on. And I'm gonna put a little bit around my nose just because I'm so red and I don't want that redness to poke through. And I'm not using a lot, guys. Like, I'm really priming my brush. You're putting the product into the brush before applying it to your skin. Helps to lay down a little less product, make things look a little bit more natural. So you may look at me and you're like, girl, you are literally applying this concealer everywhere, but I'm really like applying the littlest bit. And it's not really like covering up anything. It's just helping to make the face look a little bit more cohesive. I'm not going in with any more product. I'm just gonna take the blush that's left over on this dome brush, and I'm just gonna pat over like that because I feel like I kind of took, you can kind of see where my concealer stops and my blush starts. So I'm just going over that like this just to help blend everything out. And again, I didn't pick up any more product, and I'm just gonna go over the places where I put that blush. I feel like the skin looks really good. And I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go over the sections where I have that bronzer and the contour a little bit with this brush too, just to help blend. Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I would just use something that isn't a dewy spray, but isn't a like Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray. Like just use something that is a nice mist that will just add a little bit of hydration to your face. So I love this. This is my favorite. Again, Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. If you feel like things just don't look as blended as they could look, like if you just think they could look a little bit better, by all means go in with a damp beauty sponge and just pat. Never swipe with a sponge, pat, because you really want to keep everything that you laid down in place. You just want it to look a little bit more blended, a little bit more natural. Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. Typically, I would just use my Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, but this translucent setting powder makes your skin look like skin. BH Cosmetics Golden Gal Bronzer. This is discontinued. Don't hate me, but I just feel like using this and it's in front of me. I'm gonna take that on a big complex brush like this, and I'm just gonna pat this in the back of my face, going over where I put that bronzer and the contour earlier. So I'm just putting this around the perimeter of my face, and this is just going to amplify that pigmentation a little bit, but it's also gonna help to set it. And I'm not using too much. I'm gonna take it and put it down the sides of my nose just like that. GG Gorgeous, the only blush duo in Authentic and Pride. And I'm going to take that on a JH06 brush by Morphe, and I'm going to mix the two together. And I'm going to pat this into my cheeks, and I'm gonna kind of just use that to hug the cheekbone. So this has a little bit of a slant on the side, so I'm using that slant to just hug the cheekbone, and I'm using it in like a pressing motion like that. And I'm only gonna keep this to my cheeks because we use that Honest Beauty Everywhere as a complexion product, but this one I kind of want it to just make me look flushed. Put it all over the center of my face, just like this, just because I think that's sweet. And I'll put a little bit on my chin. Okay, I have a blush problem. I don't think I want to apply highlighter because I feel like my skin looks really juicy and glistening, and like, I don't know, I haven't really been on the highlighter train. I should have said this before, but you can go in with your translucent setting powder brush and just kind of clean up anywhere where you think looks a little bit messy. So I feel like right here along my cheekbone looks a little bit patchy. So I'm just going to clean it up by using the powder that is already in the brush. I'm not using extra powder. And if you feel like you brought your blush down a little bit too far or your bronzer down a little bit too far, you can use this to just clean up the perimeters just like that. I'm gonna use a little bit up here too. Okay, so I went ahead, I hopped off camera, I filled in my brows, I threw on a somewhat bold wing. It was not supposed to be this bold, but sometimes, you know, you just keep playing and finessing and they end up this large, but I'm not mad at it. And I threw on a nice bold orangey red. I am loving this kind of red, and I feel like this is going to be a staple in, you know, the spring and summer months, especially the summer months. I love a nice bold red on tan skin. Right now I'm looking pasty pale, but we will get there in due time. I am wearing the Pat McGrath Obsessed lipstick paired with the NYX lip liner in the shade Spicy. That is what is on my lips today. If you are interested in the liner that I am wearing, that video will actually be up on Friday. I am teaching you guys how to create any kind of eyeliner shade of your choice. You don't need to go out and buy a ton of eyeliners. Stay tuned because it's a really good one. It'll be a 5-minute or less video. Those are my Fast Fix Fridays where I teach you guys just some of my beauty hacks. Quick, great, awesome to know, and will help save you some coin. So this is the finished makeup look. I am very happy with how this came out. I told you guys, trust the process, and trust the process we did. So this is the final makeup look. This is my full face of makeup without using any foundation. If you did enjoy this video, do be sure to leave it a big thumbs up. Leave me some love in the comments. Will you try out this technique? If you do try it out, come back, leave a comment down below. Let me know how it went for you. Do you have your own beauty hacks in terms of what you do when you're not wearing any foundation? Leave that down below. I personally would love to read it, and I'm sure many of my viewers would love to read it as well. Make sure that you subscribe and click that bell before you leave. I had a wonderful time as always. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, Finders. Mwah.